All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Today is Trading Trends Stock Edition today, September 11th, 2025 edition. New all-time high. Absolutely a spectacular day in the market. A very exciting show. Got some crazy moving stocks for you that not only move today, but for the week and on the year. If you don't get ideas after this, really not much I can do to help you. We're all-time highs. It's important to understand we're all-time highs in SPY as well as the RSP. RSP is equal weight S&P 500, so it ignores the market capitalization, and they're both hitting all-time highs today. So also the value ETF, VTV. So if you own anything pretty much in equities, highest statement you'll ever get is today, September 11th, 2025. Let's go into the doc and we'll see exactly what's been going on and where we can still make opportunities, where there's still opportunities existing, and with some money in the market. So let's take a look. A lot today was more so that blue candle up. Let's take a look. So look at some single stock movers. Really could look at a handful of big movers today. I'm going to look at the 3 Sigma movers, and they really are coming for some of the dogs. Centene was up big today. Excuse me. Centene, we used to make fun of it. It was a healthcare equipment company, rather, I think. We'll take a look at the chart. Tempus AI company and Micron, a superstar. That one, these names all were up big. And really the only name I saw to the downside was Boeing. We'll take a look at that chart. And new all-time highs for, let me take a breather for this, my God. New all-time highs for the S&P 500, the NASDAQ QQQ, equal weight stocks, the GDX. We were talking about GDX. GDXJ does not have all-time highs yet. There's your catch-up trade. But GDX continues to do it again. All-time highs today. XLC, it's been continuing to do it. Tech did it today. Semiconductors, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's not just in the States. Japan has had a new all-time high today. We were talking about that the other day on Spaces. Value ETF. Value hit all-time high today. So it's not just the important stocks, the Mag 7, the concentrated AI names. Value's doing it too. Multiple expansion everywhere. Everything is getting bid. Essentially, Canada all-time highs. Traditionally, commodity rich country. Oil's not doing a ton. Canada's still getting all-time highs. And of course, the best fund outside of QQQ, a little bit more diversified, is XLG, the extra large fund, new all-time high today. So we got a lot to get to. Let's get into the charts first. We'll go on the, how we do it. We'll go on the intraday, and then we'll go to the S&P very near-term forecast, and then we'll go on all crazy stocks that moved. So really, yes, that's a SPY backdrop. So really fast, Tesla, a huge move up 6%. We're talking about that big important level at 320. As long as that holds, and the market's doing what it's doing, that's up and to the right. It's in the right spaces as well. At that, a big 6% gain today. Oracle down 6%, but we all remember what happened yesterday. And we'll take a look at the chart. Actually, Oracle is our leader of the week, the best stock move of the week. Down 6% today, but we'll see what it did yesterday. It was up massive, 40%. Small caps crushing at 2% today. IWM, do want to know that is 2% away from new 52-week highs, IWM. So like we said, every squirrel gets a nut. I'm going to make T-shirts. Every squirrel gets a nut. Catch-up trades abound. That's probably where money drifts into, I imagine, Q4. Window dressing and catch-up trades for other cap names. Apple up 1.5%. Micron, we're taking a look at that name today. That's a big move for an already superstar stock, up 7.5%. Broadcom down 3% in an adverse move, but that stock has been on fire. Baba up 8%. That name looks absolutely great. Probably one of the best names out of China. AMD down 2%. Stock still looks decent. Palantir down 1.5%. Still looks great at 164. United Healthcare up 2%. So where are they coming for the dogs? The United Healthcare has had quite a bounce now. The stock it will rebound like everything else, albeit slower. Netflix down 3.5%, but the stock's been on fire. And that is it for that. All right, so the intraday tape, of course, there was a inflation number this morning. They liked it, and there was big moves here. 9:30, we took SPY from 654 open. And then the next lowest price that we saw after 10 a.m. was 655 half. They continued to pounce that higher. And then really the new floor after that, after 11:30 a.m. here in the States, was 657. You see my VWAP here at 656.75. They took it to our all-time highs. Actually stuck at 330. We've been seeing strong institutional, really strong, enthusiastic buying. That 330 to 4-hour PM hour, very important. We took it to 658.33 in the SPY. My goodness. And then a very small sell-off, obviously still clearing VWAP by the end of the day. Overbought all day on an intraday basis with a 77 RSI all day. We actually peaked in RSI at 11 a.m., but that's A-okay. It's there's a lot of people in line to buy, as it were. As I zoom out here on the SPY 52-week view here, that's a SPY 1-year chart. Boy, I've been saying that the ceiling here, it looks like the market wants to go as high as I had said before. You see the vol expansion here with the blue expanding. Before, really, I'd say about 653, 655 is probably where it wants to go. And here we are at 657.60. There are people in this line. Look at this, this EKG, if you will. This line is going higher. These lines are going higher. The momentum is to the upside. This is still obviously a market very much in favor. In terms of levels here, I mean, obviously blue skies ahead, but trees don't grow to the sky. You are having a bit of a divergence here. You're not overbought, and you're having new all-time highs at an outer Bollinger Band close. So typically you want to see this get at least 70. It's 68. All that means to me is over the next 2-ish weeks, there's a high likelihood we get to 645 or a 12-point reduction, very close to 2%. And then that would be my entry for success in terms of great risk levels. And if you have an ugly sell-off, I don't know, something with tariffs or civil war, or who knows what happens, somewhat or other. I can't speak today, but that'll probably take it to about 630. That's your lower Bollinger Band and the 50-day moving average. And I do think they will step into that. Again, those are levels first we've never seen before July. Really, only the second time we've been overbought all year. So very interesting. I think at some point the market will digest these gains and head back towards 645, and that's where you should get aggressive for entry. But obviously, we've been saying be long. The market's telling you to be long, and let's get a little bit in depth here with what exactly to be long. But this market's been absolutely stupendous, running like an absolute superstar since it broke above its 200 moving average May 12th. All the reason to be in this market. Stochastic momentum mix at its highs, as well as a trending higher 200-day moving average. If you had a trading system that got you in there at May 12th with a VWAP there at 580, still no reason to exit. One scary moment technically there on August 1st. We had a 48 RSI and SPY sunk to 619, and that was an oopsie. They bought it, and then really after that, we never went below 626. Okay, so let's get into some of these big movers on the day. All right, so Centene is the first one up. This had a big move today. Why are we looking at it? The parameters, so you know, because stocks get a little wonky with all these. We're going to look at some crazy movers with the year-over-year names up over 1,000%. The parameters are at least $20 share price, and it's got to be at least 10 million shares average daily volume. So this is Centene, healthcare provider, $15 billion name. They have $180 billion in revenue. So at some point, this is kind of a trap. These guys have financials, but obviously horrible earnings, and these guys lose money. So this name bottomed officially here on August 7th at $25. You can see this name. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but this was $76 last September. And now, like we said, they've been coming for the dogs. This thing was a long line of selling from July 2nd to August 11th. Literally nobody wanted this piece of crap. And now what's happening, you got a nice, decent little hammer here. Still has a lot of work here. This gap will be filled, I believe, as it tries to head towards 52 over time. Every squirrel gets a nut, even in broken companies like this, up 9% today. I don't know if this has earnings or if AI is going to do the healthcare providing, but I think this has a nice 2 weeks ahead. I think it's going to, my target short term was about 35. It did a lot today. Don't forget, just 2 days ago, this thing was at 29, and now it touched, 36.5. I think over time, it's going to try to get towards, 38 nearer term. And then over time, if you have the patience, this could probably head to about $51. I like that move to its 200 moving average, and it's going to fill that gap. It's kind of got that United Healthcare feel to it. Also, it's been above 45 RSI since August 14th. So this actually has, I don't want to say legs, but this actually is not looking horrendous here. And if you're in the catch-up trades, there's worse spots than you can be. It's got 69 RSI for the first time. Would love to see it get to 70. It did touch last thing 36.5, and then they rejected it and sent it back down, but it did hold. It closed at VWAP. So interesting to see. If you're a gambler, Centene could be rising. Like I said, a couple more bucks in the next couple of weeks. All right. Next, this is not last I checked, yeah, this is not a loser. This is Tempus AI. And of course, they have AI in the name. So some folks will just buy it on that principle alone. You know who you are. This thing peaked on Valentine's Day. Lovely. See what I did there? Tired. $91 is where it peaked, and where to go today? 88.5 is where it closed, and actually hit 91 even. Tempus, what's the market cap on these guys? This is a life science. They're a $14 billion company, healthcare tech company using AI. I like it. This has a nice 2 weeks ahead, I think. Similar, like I said, to Centene, there's going to be some zigs and zags and some frustration. But I think this heads to, it did a lot today. Like I said, this went from $78 to 91 in a day. But I do think it's going to get very close to those highs. So I would say $90. I'm not sure if it actually pinches or pierces that 91.5 to get to new highs, but very, very close. It has a nice 2 weeks ahead. And then let's go to an absolute superstar, new 52-week highs today. Micron, an absolute monster move, up 7.5%. Semis, new all-time highs. It's not just NVIDIA powering it. This is a powerful semiconductor company, $155 billion name, massive move. I believe they have earnings in 2 weeks. Did they pre-announce? I just was looking at this. Hang on. Report soon. Watch for this surprise. Strong trading day. Looks like this, I'm not really sure. But so this full evaluation, about this gets a little bit too stretched. I love the breakout above 130. It's been very clean here. Overbought. Love it. Look at all the green candles here as well. This thing hasn't closed red since Labor Day. They've been buying this truly since the breakouts, as if the world said, you know what, wait for this to close above 130, and then we'll just keep buying it. Today, it touched 156 quarter, and then they sold it off a little bit down to 150. Closed above VWAP, though, which was 149 on the day. Nice, beautiful RSI, 80. This looks like it continued to go, but to be frank, my full valuation for this was about 142, 145 to get some box matches, so I don't love getting absolutely crazy. I would almost rather wait 2 to 3 weeks for this and then try and get out to that prior breakout level, probably going to be closer to 130, and then get you to current levels for your target. But absolutely congrats if you were in the stock. This thing had been range bound between 130 and 105, a pretty big range, and then a very nice clean breakaway above 130 just, 2 days ago. Really a lot of strength since Labor Day. All right. Let's get into the loser. So there's three big moves of the day. Yes, the market at all-time highs. They got into Centene, a piece of crap loser. Tempus, which is right on the heels of its highs, and Micron actually did a new 52-week high. That's why it's always nice to have different kinds of chips on the table. There's different players scoring. You got your bench players, you got your stars, you got a little bit of everything. And when it's all-time high market, things are working at the same time. You're getting assists, you're getting points, you're getting everything. All right, let's go to, there was not a lot of losers. They sold off Boeing. I haven't looked at this thing in a little bit. Boeing was really your only multiple standard deviation mover. Lower, we all know Boeing, $170 billion aerospace and defense name. These guys peaked on their earnings report on July 29th. They hit 243, I'm rounding, and then it wasn't overbought there either, so you're going to kind of sniff a divergence. It went the next day to 54 RSI, and then now here we are kind of towards the lows. I still say it has a nasty week. This looks like it's not done. I think it wants to spend a little bit more time here with that 220 handle, put in those lows, base, and then try and resolve towards another rally towards the 230 level. So to me, some range bound activity here for Boeing. That makes sense in terms of what's going on with the market. I don't think they'd be scooping a name like Boeing here in terms of, yield and where the market's going. We'll take a look at some AI names where other things are. This makes sense that it's not in the profile for right now. It will be in vogue. Still, stock's been doing really great since its April report. I probably like this one more so in a couple of weeks at a 220 entry. All right. Top three gainers of the past 5 days. Congrats if you've been in these. We got to talk about this one. The leader of the party, Oracle, up 39% in the past 5 days. Pretty interesting move. I want to look at the candles on here. Larry Ellison also overtook Elon Musk as the world's most richest man on this. Ellison owes, like different islands all over the world. This is a $1 trillion company now after the move. So yesterday, he was a monster candle, up 36% on an AI cloud surge in spending. OpenAI has done like bigger deals with Oracle than anybody else, and this thing really participated on the name. Look at the volume here: 132 million shares. The thing had before never done over 60 all year. So folks are absolutely cracked out on Oracle yesterday, and pretty interesting monster candle here. So yesterday they took it as high as 346. Today the high was 335 with the low of 305. The VWAP was 316. They closed it below that at 307. Beautiful momentum breakout. Obviously, you want to really pay attention to this level when all this exuberance happens. You want to always discover and pay attention to what's going to happen to that price discovery here. What happened to all these points in uncharted territories? Most times, not always, those gaps are filled. I think it's going to take a couple of some time, maybe 2 weeks or so, and then this will likely head to about 260 and fill that earnings gap. So I wouldn't personally want to chase it here, but the momentum can continue. I don't think it's done though. Look at the candle. The low was 305 today, and they closed it near that at 307, and it was below VWAP by about 3%. So and look at the brand. Oracle just typically doesn't trade like this. I know it's an absolutely chaotic, historic day, but it would make a lot of sense. I'm not going to be crazy. So in terms of trades, I don't want to straight up buy the 260 puts. You can sell the upside calls. You be careful; they weren't all-time high market. It's XLK, it's semis, it's software is even outperforming with Oracle leading. So I'd be careful with trades. Nothing really stands out. I'd rather participate honestly in 2 weeks. You can sell the calls if you absolutely desire, but or you can buy some really cheap puts. But I'd be careful with that. Okay, other stuff that absolutely been crushing it this week. I've been giving you some of the other ideas that look decent. Centene I think has some room. More so long term though, probably $1 short term. And then we talk about Tempus and Micron. Let's look at the next biggest leader of the week. So Oracle is up 39% in the past 5 days. We do 5-day moves here. The next one was, we're all familiar, Coreweave. I absolutely did not spell that correctly. There we go. Coreweave on its heels. Coreweave, this should not actually have slipped into my parameters. This actually only has 6 months of history, but I know some traders that trade this exclusively. It's crazy. So what the hey? Let's look at Coreweave. And it's up absolutely monster this week. That's a big move. I know it's not even, that's a 31% move. And just consistently, it had 17% on the 10th yesterday. And now, kind of similar to Oracle, it had a shed of 4%. Now what? Personally, don't want to chase this. I think you'll get a small digestion over the next 2 weeks, and then it'll slip to about 100 even. And then I do want to probably participate. There's probably better names than that, but this is a star this week. This did peak in June. There's better momentum names than that. But again, every squirrel gets a nut. I was talking to a trader after Space's report, and I was talking about that. Super microcomputer, why not? And then he doubled his money in calls the next day and said, drinks on me next time. So it really is just being the right church, right pew for maybe a day or two. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to chase this here, but next time it's probably playable from about 100 to 113 short term. All right, and then the next one is Iren, which hit a new all-time high today. This one up 27% over the past 5 days. Absolutely monster today, down 2%. Big moves up 11% yesterday. And the day before that, crazy, 15%. So I know this one gets a lot of traders' eyes as well. I'm giving you a lot of great looking names today. This is a software, vertically integrated data center business in Australia, US, and Canada. They're a $9 billion name that hit an all-time high today. They do have a revenue of about $500 million. Yeah, probably a little bit more momentum short term. I don't want to chase this here. I'd rather wait, closer to about 2 weeks, and then something tells me to get maybe a move down to about $25. Honestly, probably closer to that, where that earnings lift happened on August 29th, that 15% lift. So for that, patience will probably be the key. Let's see if the other names set up. We're looking at some superstars coming up. But this one right here, new all-time high today. Congrats if you're an Iren. And also for the week, Oracle and Coreweave. You're crushing the stock market. 3 best stock moves in the entire marketplace with actual parameters, not cracked out $2 hunk of jokes. Let's look at, they're not all winners. Let's look at the losers. There were 3 really big losers this week we're going to look at because there's opportunities everywhere. Lululemon, the worst stock in the market this week. Not looking too good. Let's take a look at the chart. Down 20% Lululemon over the past 5 days. They're an average of 4% a day. Yikes. Their earnings was just an absolute monster, down 19% on the 5th of September. And it sank it to a 52-week low the next day on the 8th of September, 3 days ago. It touched 163. We're still oversold. Don't like that. It's 28 RSI. This thing's been a loser. Really, when you see all this red, this blood, as we call it, this crimson red here, oversold, over, and under a falling, I don't even care, just under a 200-day moving average. Nobody wants this since March 12th. It's just not in vogue. They don't like it. I think this is going to try and bottom right around, right around here this week, 160. This looks a little bit overdone. And then it probably have, like I said, even United Healthcare, Adobe was up today. Every squirrel gets a knock. This is in a nasty space. Don't really love people buying, in this economy, $200 pants or whatever it is that they do still. But this probably gets a dead cat bounce to about that 185 to 190 level over the next 2 to 3 weeks. But I personally would not play that, but it probably does do it. All right, nasty. The worst stock this week, though, Lululemon. So sorry if you're in that. It's making you sweat. Get it? Number 2, bad spot. And Chewy, if you're up there, these guys send you birthday cards. Chewy, the number 2 worst spot. So again, Chewy, I don't think is super cheap. I guess for some things they're cheap. But Lululemon, maybe, strapped on the consumer. Not so great of a story there. Chewy as well. This name, so still a much better chart. This is not anywhere like the Lululemon chart. Don't get me started. This thing peaked though on June 6th at 48.60. And then really still a great looking chart. And then this earnings story just the other day, some really big reactions to earnings from the retail space, down 17% yesterday was Chewy. And then today they chewed it up. They up 2.5%. Now what? Is it a bad story? Is it a good story with a relative strength sell like this? I don't like the story. It's specialty retail. They are a $14 billion name on $12 billion revenue. 200-day moving average is just going up barely. I would say a penny a day at 37.5. Most volume yesterday in a year. Not oversold yet. The 200-day moving average is a tough one. I think the $34 floor holds, but I do think there is overhead at resistance overhead at 40. So range-bound frustrations, in my opinion. So over the next 2 weeks, some zigs and some zags. I do think 200-day moving average will hold. This is still in a good spot. I'll forgive a name like this that has had less than a week's worth of closes under the 200-day moving average. To me, you're still averaging a triple-double. You're okay. Don't like to see that, but ideally what I think is happening is that folks that do not want to be in the stock got shaken out of the stock. The 34 floor still held. I do think I'll still try and traverse and get above 37.5. It's going to prove a little bit weighty, but I think it's going to happen. It's going to be frustrating, but I think today was a start up 2.5%. But the second worst stock all week, past 5 days after Lululemon, is Chewy. And the next one, this is not in retail of any space. These guys don't do water bowls. This is Trade Desk, and this looks like the Lululemon chart. This is an absolute piece of crapola. I remember when this name used to be all the rage. This is a tech media company in the U.S. and international, $23 billion name, big, off of $3 billion revenue, but yikes. 52-week low technically came with the SPY 52-week low back in April. Seems like so long ago for the SPY or for the U.S. And for some names, they're still really having a hard time, like this one. So this hit $43 back then. What an earnings. This was the historic change in the company. February 13th, not such sweet Valentine's Day Eve for y'all. They lost a third of the company value right there overnight. I guess they just said, I don't know what we're doing. We're just giving monkeys cookies or something. I don't even understand what could be worse than that. It led to being oversold for nearly 2 months, outside of it being a downright scam. Goodness golly. So that actually hit its thing. Its low at April 7th of $43. And then look at that. Picture perfect. Tell me technicals mean nothing. This is beautiful. 200-day moving average. It got to the line on an earnings report August 8th. It got there. It got to $90 from a bottom of 44. A 2x. What happened? The earnings come out. reiterates. Earnings are very important. They find out investors, they say, what? This thing's a piece of crap again. They sold it down 38%, more than the first time. Wow. And then, so that was the earnings report that just happened. And this thing does not look good. I think it has a nasty week up ahead. I don't know how much lower it goes. I think probably, what's the 52-week low on the sucker? 42.96. Yeah, I don't like it. It's oversold again. Standing room only to get out of this hunk of junk. It's crazy that it actually did reach overbought pieces here, but the earnings was the fuel for that, and it was very short-lived. So very interesting. Be careful of this one. Next earnings report for this is November 7th. Look out below. Wow, either every squirrel gets a nut, and this maybe has a back towards 80, or this thing's going to go lower because the reactions have been dramatic. Trade desk. Third worst stock week. So that lets me think it's the latter and they want to, take it lower. But so Lululemon, Chewy, and Trade Desk are not enjoying all-time highs. Worst stocks to be in this week. Sorry if you're long. Top 3 trades of the past 5 days. If you've been long Oracle, Coreweave, and Iren, just go home. Congratulations. You're absolutely crushing it. You literally won the stock market this week. Those are the best stocks in all the land. All right. And lastly, the most important, most exciting part of the program, the top 3 stocks of the past year. This is for real. Again, the parameters are at least $20 share price and at least 10 million shares trading average over the past year. I don't want any flash in the pan. So sorry for like Rigetti and some of the other quantum computing names. I still look for those parameters. And some of these set up right now, let's take a look. We're going to talk about the quantum computing stocks. I said these were going to frustrate a couple of weeks ago. Let's see if they are closer to setting up now with the market all-time highs. And the divergence, the discrepancy between the disparity between these names is extreme. The number 1 name is 1,200%. The number 30 name is 550. So hundreds of percent to be made everywhere, and we're going to highlight them. Number 1 best stock in the entire market. Congratulations if you're long this. This is from last September 11th through today. It is OKLO. Congratulations. It is up 1,215%. It is the best stock in the entire marketplace. It is technically an electric utility, advanced fission power plant name, nuclear waste fuel, blah, blah, blah. $11 billion is the market cap on it now with no revenue. So when this is totally risk on, which is what the market is, equal weight and SPY hitting all-time highs, you want a little bit of this in your portfolio. This name, yes, did peak in August at $85. It was not overbought there. The RSI, something told me this is probably going to visit $70 soon, and it actually did it $60 soon. And here we are now at a 79.5, a big day, up 8%. I personally would not chase it here. Give this, again, I'm not a fan right now of chasing into the year-over-year leader, the GOAT right now, well, for a year. So it wouldn't be of all time. It would be the entire. I'm not going to do it. I would give this a little bit 2 weeks to sit out personally. And then if you have that entry, honestly, right at around $72, get in. Basically where it was this morning on the lows. Get in, and I do think it'll very likely head back towards $85. Oh, so no setup right now. Give this one 2 weeks to sit out, and you get a 72 handle. Get in. OKLO, congrats if you're in it. Year-over-year leader, just beautiful. Overbought many different pieces all year. And also, I just want to point out, above 43 RSI trading since April 23rd. So again, not that it's had more than 3 dips under the 200 moving average since October, just really up and to the right. Absolutely beautiful chart and nearly a 2x above its 200 moving average. Back here at $43, and we're trading nearly, almost $86, 2x. We're at 79.5. So no setup right now in OKLO. Number 2, and this is crazy, it's half the gains. OKLO's up 1,200% year over year, 1215. Number 2 best stock is Rocket Lab at 633%. Crazy, absolutely crazy. This name peaked in July at $53. Also, many periods of overbought. You could see here, just a beautiful looking chart here. Right now, trading $48. They scooped this up 5% today. This is a space company, launch services, space systems. These guys do make some money, $500 million in revenue. OKLO is no revenue. So a little bit different in terms of the risk scale. This is a $22 billion market cap. Give this also, I just don't like this part of the risk spectrum right here. I would give this about another close to 2 weeks. And if you have an entry at about, ideally, $45 would be, I think, a great entry. And I do think the next stop would be about 51. Maybe there's new prior highs at 54. But I would sit this one out for about 2-ish weeks. So nothing attacking me right here in terms of a strategy. Cost per work is just a straight comment, considering the thing is up 633% year over year. But that would be my entry. That would be a beautiful entry, about $45 in about 2 weeks. RKLB, your second leader year over year after OKLO. And lastly, IONQ. This is unlikely to have a very different setup, considering it's in a similar space in the cloud computing. But let's take a look. Is IONQ your third best performer, up 551%? So again, the percentages: OKLO 1,215%, absolute killer. Number 2, RKLB 633. Number 3 is IONQ 551. But after that is Palantir and Robinhood and all the other stuff. We're looking at the absolute alpha. These guys, IONQ is, let me move the box here. A couple things on this. So these are very, very little revenue, $50 million. That's, to me, pretty much no revenue. And the $12 billion market cap. They do quantum computer and networks in the United States. These guys did peak back here in January and then had an ugly the next day, down 39%. Pretty crazy chart. No setup for me on this as well. I think this is going to give like a 2-week consolidation. This has essentially been very range bound between 49 and 36 going back from May. So it seems like a little bit more frustration to me for the third leader year over year. I would wait for this, and similarly, I gave a level for entry for the prior name. For this, give it 2 weeks, and if you can get in at about 41, I still love your risk reward. I think it will reward you ultimately in the end. Like I said, stocks RSP equal weight all-time high, SPY all-time high. You're going to want to hold stocks. Value all-time high. You're going to hold stocks. And IONQ, once you're third year-over-year leader, every squirrel gets a nut. Come on, this thing's Steph Curry in prime, pure stuff. So that is that. And tomorrow we'll wrap up this absolutely crazy week with some ETFs.